Hey everybody, so I just decided I was going to do a deck profile video for my Gem Knight deck here. Been really enjoying this deck, and now that I got my Super Rabbit, decided I'd go ahead and do the video. So for starters, we got 3 copies of Gem Armadillo. It's kind of my Stratos. 2 copies of Rescue Rabbit. No real surprise there. 3 copies of Gem Knight Garnet. 3 copies of Gem Knight, or excuse me, there it is. 3 copies of Gem Knight Tourmaline. Thought I had 3 in there. 3 copies of Gem Knight Sardonyx, who is absolutely awesome. 1 copy of Gem Knight Amber. 3 copies of Gem Knight Obsidian. Also, just awesome card. And 2 copies of Gem Turtle. And finally, 1 copy of Morphing Jar, which is a rock. Just works really nice to move you through your deck. On the spells, I got obviously Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 copies of Gemini Spark. Plays a lot like an E-Hero deck. 2 copies of Gem Knight Fusion. A lot of people like to run 3 copies of Gem Knight Fusion because all the power in the deck comes from the fusions, but I find that once you get 1 copy of Gem Knight Fusion, you really don't need a second one. So since I got the 2 Gem Turtles to search them, and you know, a lot of times you'll even open with 1 in your hand or something, I don't think it's necessary to have 3, so 2 works well for me. 2 copies of Dark Factory Mass Production. This is just so I can bring back a lot of my gems that I've already fused off and confuse them again. 1 copy of Supervise. This turns your Gemini monsters into effect monsters, and when it goes from the field to the graveyard, if it was face up, then you get to special summon a normal monster back, so that can be really helpful too. Just get a lot of use out of Sardonyx that way. 1 copy of Call of the Haunted into the traps. 2 copies of Mirror Force. 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. 1 copy of Solemn Warning. 2 copies of Bottomless, and honestly I would run 3 Bottomless and no Warning if I could, but I can't, so that's my reasoning for that. And then into the extra deck, first the Xyz monsters. We got number 39 Utopia, Violon de Sigma, Gem Knight Pearl, 1 Fairy King Arrivederci, at least that's what I call it, and 1 number 16 Shockmaster. 2 copies of Gem Knight Prismara, excuse me, which is awesome. 1 copy of Gem Knight Topaz. 2 copies of Gem Knight Citrine. 2 copies of Gem Knight Ruby. And finally 3 copies of Gem Knight Zirconia. So that is it. That's my Gem Knight deck, and yeah, it's awesome. So I love it. Hope you guys enjoyed it.